What's good, fans? Cleveland done got me agitated right now. Just kick off the show. He's trying to limit the scope of the show, fans, and I don't appreciate it. And fans, I want you right now. I want you to get at Cleveland at underscore voice of the fans, and he's challenging the bandwidth of our fans. And I'm saying the fans would be into tennis. Now, there's something that happened, an historical event that happened in tennis that Cleveland just had the urge to talk about it, but he doesn't want to bring it up on the show, but he want to talk about it behind the show. And so I'm bringing some of these things to light right now. And Cleveland, I'm going to give you a chance to talk about this. What is it that you want to talk about? What's so fascinating in the world of tennis, Cleveland, that you want to start the show off with?
Oh, Cam, I was just saying that on Sunday, Rafael Nadal won his 14th French Open, his 22nd Grand Slam title, which is the most in history. But 14 French Open titles, I believe Bjorn Borg with 6 is the second closest. So it's leaps and bounds. It would be, for example, if Tiger Woods won the Masters like 14 times.
So, I mean, well, he's won some opens a bunch of times. So why isn't Nadal rated the greatest tennis player ever? If this
because it's debatable. He's in a group with 2 other players that continually
but
push
if
each
14
other.
if 14 is so spectacular in your eyes,
Yes, 14 at the same event.
we're losing fans. We're losing fans.
Spectacular.
I just want to let you know we're losing fans talking about this sport.
Yeah,
Sport,
and that's exactly why I didn't do it, Cam, because I know it's a little bit out of your wheelhouse, a little bit out of your
No,
comfort
it's not
zone.
about. I don't mind talking to you
Kind of
about
like
it.
if you were gonna, have a few California rolls, it's like it's not really your thing. You're a meat and potatoes guy. I understand that.
But we got NBA action to talk about.
Let's roll to that then. I mean, that's
we got
again,
NBA finals
that's
action
in my
to talk
wheelhouse and your wheelhouse, so we can be on the same page with that. If I start talking tennis, I might as well be saying ni hao ma to you. It'd just be in a different language. You wouldn't understand it.
But again, this is the voice of the fan show. Again, Cleveland, if you will have something you want to talk about, you're more than welcome to talk about it. If you want to talk about Nadal and his 14th title, I'm impressive. But I want to know why he wasn't. I want you to answer that question. If you can find some time within your, we out here downtown Los Angeles on location. We got dudes doing wheelies on 4-wheelers driving by. But if I want to know why he's not rated the best of all time. And so, if he's not rated the best of all time by doing this magnificent feat, is this even worthy? Because I've been hearing you talk about the 13th, 14th, or 15th with him.
Yeah, and again, it really goes to just what your strength is with regards to sports knowledge, and that's fine, Cam. Let's stay with what you're good at, what the show can provide as content on both sides. It would just be so one-sided. Why go there? You know what I'm saying? I'm glad to say that your baseball knowledge is starting to expand a little bit. Man, now you know what a curveball is. That's cool. Wow.
Ain't that nothing?
Now you know what the shift is. That's cool.
Ain't that nothing?
Now you know what lefty on lefty means. I mean, you're starting to get a little bit more educated.
Ain't that nothing? This guy. Fans, I just want to give Cleveland. He just bothered me. I don't know why he waited till the we're in the show production mode. He want to bring up some topics in the same kind of way, this condescending manner. Instead of just bringing up a topic that he wants to talk about, he brings it up in this condescending manner, and I appreciate it. So we're going to keep this is the Voice of the Fans podcast, and I just had to get that off my chest. This is, again, June the 7th. Man, it's summertime already, Cleveland, 2022. Summertime is here, big guy. You know what I mean? It's technically a couple of days away, a couple of weekends away. But it's right here upon us, if you believe it or not. Week 194 of the Voice of Fans podcast show. Each and every week we start our podcast, Cleveland, with our numbers game. With it being the 7th of June, the number 7. Who comes to your mind first when you think of that number? Or who wore it best? Who comes to your mind first, or who wore it best? And don't give me John Kitna. Now, I know you're starving for a quarterback up there in the 206. Don't give me John Kitna either.
Cam, who comes to mind first and who wore it the best is the same person, Kevin Durant.
I thought of number 7. Two, two names came to my mind first, and just for shifting grins, Cleveland. Who wore this number the best? Was it Michael Vick or John Elway?
John Elway.
Did he wear it the best, or was he better?
Both.
Hey man, we appreciate you tuning in, Sweet Jumps. Thanks for tuning in. Share the word, man. Appreciate you tuning into the podcast as well. I'm out here for you guys, man. If there's a topic you want to talk about, you see my man Cleveland got a wealth of knowledge that he wants to talk about, and apparently he's deeper than the show. And we're gonna get to that. We're gonna dig in that barrel because he's telling he's deep. He got more than the show can handle. I appreciate that. We've been doing this here 10 years, and you've been holding back on us. Is that what you're telling the fans, Cleveland?
Cam, I stay in your wheelhouse, man. I don't give you more than you can chew.
Anyway, number 94. Who come to your mind first, or who wore that jersey best? Number 94.
Comes to mind first, Cam, is Chad Brown. Who
Chad
wore
Brown.
it best?
Chad Brown was dangerous. Was he better as a Steeler, or was he better with the Seahawks?
He was better as a Steeler.
I know the Seahawks needed him more, but which was he better at?
No, he was better as a Steeler. He would have had probably a Hall of Fame career had he stuck around, but Paul Allen just bought the team and was throwing money at people, and he acquiesced and took it, man. But yeah, he was better.
Right time. I mean, he started playing with the snakes and shit.
Yeah, for sure. And who wore it best was probably the 5-time Super Bowl champion Charles Haley.
Charles Haley, the psycho decision maker. Yeah, the championship maker. Cleveland, before we got an NBA topic before we get to the finals, though. Your team, you're a bandwagon fan, so your Lakers signed Darvin Ham. What do you think about this move?
Great move.
Why do you think this is what you a great move? No, why do you say this is a great move?
Everybody loves it, and first and foremost, the King was happy about it. So I mean, that's the most important thing.
The King has 2 seasons left at best. I mean, we all know he's at the coming down the backside of the hill, and you're still worried about what he thinks.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Laker Nation has to understand that everything kind of funnels through the King.
Why? The guy's coming down the backside of he's on the back 9.
Cam, he averaged 30 points a game last year. Oh, shut up, man.
Was those hollow points? Were
they?
As your boy,
is 30 points a game hollow ever?
What do you mean ever? Did they get to the playoffs?
If you average 30 points a game,
did they make the playoffs?
Hollow? They don't.
Did they make the
anything?
playoffs?
It means
your boy Carter. We had this conversation multiple times.
Really actually average 30 points a game.
We had this conversation multiple times. Your boy Carmelo Anthony, a bunch of hollow points for a bunch of years.
Never averaged 30 points a game.
Yeah. Would you take 20 points a game? Would you sign up for 20 points a game? Just slot him in for 20 points a game? His points are hollow. It's not winning points. Those 30 points he had were they winning points? What he 30?
Okay. Well, to answer your question in a different way, yes, the King's opinion is still important, and he was ecstatic about it. Everybody from the top of the organization down has commended Darvin Ham on how hard he works, how he's going to instill some toughness back in this Laker team, and really all he needs is a healthy Anthony Davis and a receptive ear from the rest of the players, and they'll be just fine.
Oh, that's all he needs is a healthy Anthony Davis. That's it.
Yeah, that's critical.
Have we seen a healthy Anthony Davis in his 10 years in the league?
Okay, well, hey man, that's a different conversation. I'm not
you say really all we need. Really all I need is $200,000, and I can make things happen. That's really all I need. Just a couple of
that's a cold-blooded analogy. I don't really feel like it's really $200,000 apart. I think it's just healthy.
You said really all we need is Anthony Davis. Like that's so easy to come across. I mean, for some people, if that ain't
I'm
200
not gonna.
grand, ain't that easy to come,
I'm
girl.
not gonna
You
sit
know?
here and tell you what healthy Anthony Davis is something you should really hang your hat on optimistically. I'm not. I'm not
I'm
gonna tell you
just
that.
saying,
I'm just
really,
saying
really, all we
that's what they
need.
need.
I'm just having some fun with you. I mean, he talked about trying to. Did you hear his welcoming speech? He sounds like a good guy. I mean, he has a track record of being, helping Giannis, help to develop Giannis. He spent a couple years getting him in shape and getting him going in the right direction. So, kudos to him there. Obviously, credit Horford for doing what he's doing. I've always liked Horford, and I always liked that. I mean, Anthony Davis is a different beast. I mean, he's more comparable to Giannis. But Horford is a great player. Horford's kind of, I want to say overachiever, but he won championships in college, so he came in with a lot of fanfare. Um, but to get the most out of these skills, he has to kind of go over above and be smart and be crafty. You know what I'm saying? Where Davis and Giannis can use their ability to outbeat somebody. So we'll see. I wonder, man, is it nutrition? Is it health? Is excuse me, health is all encompassing, obviously. But is it nutrition? Is it the diet? Is it the workout regimen? Like, why hasn't he was able to stay healthy half the season? Then the season got cut down for the bubble, and then they had the 3 months so he can just tough out any injuries that he may have had. We don't know. But why isn't it over his career, his 10 years in the league? He can't develop a plan that allows him to stay healthy. Why do you think that is?
Don't want to speculate, Cam, but in my experience, he's just built differently. You know, he's
Well,
just
I
more
mean,
susceptible to really, um, I don't want to say odd injuries, but injuries that wouldn't necessarily keep other players out for a long period of time. I mean, not to throw your guy Chris Paul under the bus, but very similar. Not to throw Derrick Rose under the bus, but very similar, man. Like weird injuries, like you get your thumb, snagged in
snagged in
somebody's
Jersey.
jersey, and you're out for 4 weeks. It's like other players like to get their thumb
In,
snagged in
in
somebody's
critical
jersey,
time of the
they
playoff. In
shake it
critical time
off,
of the
and
playoff.
they're just still in the
Yeah,
game, right? It's not like
yeah.
you're
In,
out for
in,
a
ga- in
month.
game two of the first round of the playoffs. It's like, um, so you brought up Dave Rose. I just had a thought when you brought that up. Well, we're seeing Derrick Rose overcome those tragic injuries that he was having way back in 2012, 2013. The every other week a foot injury. Um, then are we going to see the best of Derrick Rose later down the line? Or not,
No,
excuse me, not the best of Derrick Rose, excuse me, the best of Anthony Davis years down the line?
no.
You don't think as he gets older, learn how to play the game, it learns how to
Well,
play the game. You don't think we're going
also,
to see the
also you
best
have to
of him?
understand. You also have to understand that he's a big man, and big men typically don't have that long of a career. They just have different bone structure, man. I mean, like injuries, affect them much differently. A lot more. Anthony Davis is somewhat an anomaly because he has injuries all over the place. But typically your knees and your feet for people that are 7 feet or taller.
I mean, so who else have we seen come back? I mean, okay, a big man come back and play for a period of time after that injury to his extremities. Um, can you think of, we've seen Dominique Wilkins come back and played. I mean, yeah, I think he averaged 20 points a game.
No,
But it was just,
usually we see the other way, right? Usually we see the Yaos, usually we see the Chris Bosches, and like the injuries just overcome them.
yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of somebody who's come back. I'm trying to be positive for once one of your Lakers. Has is it
Well, I mean,
possible?
he's doing as much as he can, right? He's under the wing
I
of the
mean,
king. The king is his mentor.
oh, here
He's
we go. He got him through. He got him through
he's
those
showing him how
three
to be a
months.
pro.
He
He's
got him through
showing him
those
how to
3 months.
cool
I
down
told
his
you that was the
body
best.
and
I told
relax
you.
his muscles
I
after
told you he got him
games
through
and
those 3 months in the
drinking the red
bubble.
wine and going through the after game things that you need to do to keep the longevity of your career. So he's doing what he can.
Again, I told you those 3 months in the bubble, he got him through. I don't know if he personally did the massage. I mean, massage is a sensitive subject around the sports world right now, but I don't know who was doing the massages down there in the bubble. But they need to transition who was ever down there doing the work. Follow that routine. Is that routine coming out of the bubble? I don't know. And maybe everything that was happening in Orlando stayed in Orlando. Who knows? Because we sure haven't seen the best of those same Lakers transpire since then. Now we know this regime doesn't know what they're doing apparently because they're just so up and down and astronomical. But Darvingham, I'm hoping for the best for Darvingham. How about that? I'm not going to be negative Nancy on this hiring. I'm hoping for the best of Darvingham, and Cleveland. Cheers to Darvingham. How about that?
Thank
Cheers
you.
to Darvingham.
I appreciate that. And, well deserved. He certainly served his time, and he is a former NBA champion. So.
I don't want to look at the time at the box score of the NBA any either one of those championship games, but okay, NBA championship, sure. Cleveland, we got the Warriors, man. We got a series that's tied up. Let's talk about game one. Let's relive game one right now. We got a series though in action. Were you surprised by the way Horford and Derek White came out and kicked off the NBA Finals? Obviously, we had Steph. I mean, in the first, killed him in the first quarter. Just was absolutely on fire. Steve Kerr, for whatever reason, sat him down early in the second half. I would have liked to see. I would have liked to see Curry go off for 50 if he could. Steve Nash set him down with his normal routine, and then Boston kind of fights back, and they end up leading at halftime. Then the third quarter, they kind of a struggle. Not really a struggle, but the Warriors taking advantage, even get some good minutes out of Andre Iguodala. Um, Jordan Poole was non-existent. We had, I think, in that first game, I think Thompson had 12 points, and they were getting some good minutes from Otto Porter was cashing in and being effective in that first game. And then we seen the threes start raining down from the Boston Celtics in that fourth quarter. Although Tatum wasn't scoring, he had 13 assists, the most assists by a player in the debut of the NBA Finals. He had 13 assists, and White, I think, was 5 for 8. Horford was 6 for 8. Cash rules everything around me, and they took the first game of the NBA Finals. Were you surprised by that action?
I was totally stunned and shocked that Marcus Smart and Derek White and Pritchard and Horford and Jaylen Brown could keep up that level of 3-point consistency for that long. And so are the Warriors.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised you went that deep on the roster. I'm sorry. Were you looking at? Do you have a stat sheet there that you're looking at?
No, I don't. I just remember the game and just watching all these threes go up come on, they don't shoot this well. And then of course my text threads are just going crazy like, oh, what's up with Stephen Clay and blah blah. Like, I was like, this isn't sustainable. They're gonna get cold. They're gonna regress back to the mean. And they never did in game one.
No. It wasn't even a regress. It wasn't a regress. I thought they just played consistent basketball.
No, they were shooting out of their minds. They were shooting as well as they could have ever shot. They will never ever shoot that well ever again.
So let's. If I had the remix sound, I rewind a little bit because I threw out some proposals, and this is why I wanted to talk to you. Cleveland wanted to put off the show, fans. Cleveland wanted to put off the show. Let's put off the show. Let some games happen. Let's forget what we talked about last week. With the old Russian at the coming to America. The old Jewish thing. Look, Al Horford and Jordan Poole. I had them both down listed as unsung heroes in this game.
Mhm.
And what did we see happen? The I didn't give Jordan Poole a stat line, but one of the prop bets was, does Al Horford record a double double in Game 1 of the NBA Finals? We knew we went off for we knew we went off for what was it, 20 plus points, but did he get the double double? And let me see, do you recall if he got the double double? I don't recall.
I don't recall if he doubled up or not. I was so shocked with all the other occurrences of that game that the actual specific stats for specific Boston Celtic players, yeah, it kind of eludes me right now. If you have that, that's great. If not, then you can throw it in there like you got it. Sure.
No, well, I'm looking it up. I want to bring the fans and want to check the box score and see if he had the double double, because that was something that we looked at. He was nine for 12, 9 for 12, 6 for 8 from deep, and he had 6 rebounds, 3 assists. No double double. No double double. That was what was on the line. That was one of the prop bets, but we didn't account for his him to go bananas like he did. So that was the difference. And yes, I agree with you. Horford and White, I think they, by my last calculation, they hit for 47 points. I did not expect that to happen in Game 2. All the while, I didn't expect Jason Tatum to be as shoot as poorly as he did. I think he went 4 for 17, if I remember correctly. So it was kind of a surprise on that part as well. Which Tatum went 3 for 17 in that series, 1 for 5 for deep. I didn't expect that, but White and Horford obviously filled in admirably. Tatum go for 28 points in Game 1. If you went under, you would have won some money on that one, Cleveland. If you went under, Tatum going under 28.1, because remember that was one of the prop bets. You would have went under. But Al Horford, unsung heroes, as I mentioned and predicted before the series started, Al Horford would be the factor in the series, and he was certainly a factor in Game 1 when he stepped up for the Boston Celtics. I asked Steve Kerr at the end of that game, hey, dude, Jordan Poole, who I just happened to say was going to be an unsung hero in this series, Jordan Poole, he struggled. Jordan Poole in this series, or in that game, Jordan Poole was 2 for 7, 1 for 5 from deep. He couldn't get off any shots. It looked like he was might have been as Stephen A say, shook, locked up, couldn't do anything. I asked Steve Kerr, yo, Steve, does he need to be more aggressive? You need to get him some more shots. What's the deal? Oh, we'll look at it and we'll see if we can. Maybe we have to do a few things. He lost the game. He don't really. I don't think Jordan Poole was at the top of his radar as as the triggers to pull for Game 2. However, what do we see in Game 2? We saw in Game 2, um, Jordan Poole, in fact, go berserk and get a little loose on those Boston Celtics, right? And then what happened? It proves that he could have been a factor in the game, because Jordan Poole, let me look at it right now. Jordan Poole came up in this game. Jordan went 6 for 14, 5 for 9 from deep. That was a big thing. 5 for 9 for deep. That's what they needed, is those big points, and put up 17 points with a positive 7 on the plus minus. So there we see Jordan Poole was a factor in the Jordan Poole has been a factor and is happened to be one of the unsung heroes. What do you say to that, Mr. Cleveland? How'd you see Game 2?
Cam, I'm going to give you some credit here.
Oh boy,
I'm going to give you some credit.
Watch this back end.
You're always talking about how coaching is so important at these moments. And fortunately, Steve Kerr has had the privilege of playing with Michael and Scotty, Tim and Dave, Timmy and Tony, He's had the pleasure of coaching Steph and Clay, and then Steph and Clay and KD. He's been mentored by Phil Jackson and Greg Popovich. So he knows when to tell them just a little bit. Just little, blurp in their ear and let them do their thing. You know what I'm saying? Let's not overthink this too much, you guys. The first game, those guys are talking about, like you said, not 6 for 8, 9 for 12, just bombing them, 60% from 3. Like, that's not sustainable for the Boston Celtics. Let's just go back into the locker room, regroup. We'll come out and do what we do. Hey, guys, I have faith in you. I trust you. I'm not going to put too much on your plate and, make this too complicated. Keep it simple, stupid, and, good things will happen. And he has experience, with being, a marginal role player on those other teams and kind of understanding kind of like what the superstars do, like the straws that stir the drink, and he just gets out of their way. You know what I'm saying? He just kind of draws up simple plays. It's not all intricate. He doesn't have to get all Udoka about it. Just like, hey, Steph, do your thing. Clay, relax a little. You know what I'm saying? And he understands, kind of, reaping the benefits of that type of coaching philosophy. So, how you're always like really, talking about how important the coaches are? Very much so.
I'm going to take that. It's even as backhanded as I know you don't mean it and as condescending as it's. I'm going to take credit for that. Excuse me right now, fans. Let me just bask in this for a moment. Cleveland. That's an absolutely fantastic point. It's about time that you've come across and you've seen kind of and understood the impact that they can actually have. Right. And then I noticed one thing I did notice in your soliloquy, how you named about 2 or 3 coaches, but you named about 8 or 9 players that he's been around. So I noticed how you try to minimize what impact that there was, but you saying there was impact. Cleveland, I think that's progress. I think that's right
because PJ Carlissimo would be all up in there having them practice for 2.5 hours, all up in their face, trying to diagram some stuff on the blackboard. And Steve was like, "Hey, man, that was kind of wild how they hit all them threes, right? Let's just shake that off and go on."
Okay. So this is it's how the coaching is received. Or it's who's delivering the coaching, what you're saying now. Now it's
no. The coach has enough experience around superstar players to understand how to coach superstars and let them do their thing and get out of their way, as opposed to trying to really dictate how things are really going.
Are you calling PJ? Are you calling Latrell Sprewell not a superstar? Are you saying? Is that what you're saying? Latrell Sprewell, Billy Owens, Tim Hardaway before he was shipped to Miami. Are you saying that wasn't a superstar squad that PJ Carlissimo was coaching in Houston?
It was in Golden State, but
you're right. I mean, Golden State.
What I'm saying is that Steve Kerr has more experience in understanding that superstar players.
I understood. I heard you 100%.
And that you don't just chirp all in their ear trying to just, augment them with all these plays and scenarios. Adverse, just, hey, man, that was weird how that happened in game 1. Let's just, be ourselves in game 2 and be better.
I'm 100% absolutely positive, Cleveland. Happy for you, man. Happy that you would admit that you're turning the corner. That was a hell of a hell of a.
But it takes a player. It takes a coach, that's played with Jordan Pippen and played with Tim and Dave and played with Timmy Tony.
A good coach. That just takes a good coach. That just takes a good coach to understand the moment.
No, a lot of other coaches would like to have their hands all over it and micromanage and go over here and do this and set this screen and you didn't set this screen and you didn't help out on defense over here and make it a big deal. And Steve Curtis knows better.
Okay, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm just gonna leave it at that. And the next question I'm gonna ask you is Clay playable in the season? Or in the series, Cleveland? Are we going to be able to see Clay get off in the series? You think we'll see a better Clay on the road than we saw at home?
I think so.
I mean, who's he going to get off on? He's not Jaylen Brown. Is he going to play? Are they going to put Derek White on him? Or what, is Marcus Smart? Who do you see Clay taking advantage of and having maybe when we say get off, let's just say a 20-point game, 18 and 20-point game. What do you want to say, 18 or 20-point game? Which do you think he's going to have first?
Cam, they're just going to run their offense. He'll get better shot opportunities, and things will be just fine. Not worried about Clay.
Nah, bro. Nah, B. You better worry about Clay, man. Clay ain't been hitting that mark right now. And I'm a fan of Clay and who he's been and what he's done. But Clay ain't been hitting that mark right now. Clay, 11 points. That's what you want from Clay in game 2? That's what you want from him?
No, we're hoping for a little, we're
Wiggins
hoping for a
has
little bit
been
more. It'll come.
Wiggins has been better than Clay, in all seriousness this series.
Okay,
He's been more valuable. Would you say, or would you agree or disagree?
The Dragon is going to get his lungs. They'll be just fine. Clay will be just fine.
I think so, I don't know. We'll see. How many minutes do you play in before you kind of reconsider what's going on?
Oh, Clay gets his customary 30.
Oh, you don't consider minimizing them at all. That's not even in the consideration. What? Really? So he gave you what I say 12 in the second game. What did he give you in the second game? I thought Otto Porter has been pretty good as well. Clay was 6 for 14. What was his total there? For 15, does he get 20 points? So he had 15 and 11 in this series. Does he get 20 points?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
When you expect Clay to be better on the road than he was at home?
I do.
Okay, we'll see if that happens. What game will he be? You want to put something on him getting 20 points this series or this game 3? You want to put something on that? Clay busting 12.
Well, I mean, you sound so unconfident in Clay. I will say in one of these Boston games, he'll score 20. How you feel about that?
No, don't give me one. Don't give me that. I said on tomorrow on game 3.
Cassius Clay, slow down, man. Slow down with your backpedaling.
In game 3.
Cassius, slow down with your backpedaling.
No, that's exactly what I said. You trying to mix it up.
I said he'll get 20 in one of these games on the road. How you feel about it? He'll play better on the road than he did at home? I think so.
Well, let's narrow that down in game 3. Let's narrow that down.
Why?
I mean, why are we leaving it on?
Okay. Then say you don't feel comfortable with taking on a bet where Clay could score 20 in any of the 3 games on the road.
No, there is only there might only be 2 games. There might only be 2 games. It's 2-2. 1-1-1.
Oh, excuse me. The 2 games. Okay, well, give me the 2 games then. Yeah, let's go 20 in one of them. How you feel about it?
I said game 3, and you try to.
I know what you said, I'm changing the perspective of the bet a little bit. How you feel about 2? He's got 2 chances to get 20.
No, I want to see.
You don't feel too confident anymore. So yeah, hush up with all that, man.
No, he may get it in game 4. But game 3, the deciding game.
Okay.
I mean, game 3.
How is game 3 the deciding game?
Game 3 too, because if they do game 3.
Oh, so if they go up 2-1, the series is over.
No, if they do 3, they can very well win game 4, and then win it at home in game 5. That's very doable. That's why game 3 is very pivotal. It's not the deciding game, obviously. It's very pivotal.
Okay. Cam, you realize how you're sounding right now, right?
Well,
you tried to throw it out like he wasn't going to score 20, but you were only going to give him game 3 to do it.
Yeah, that's what our bet is. That's what our bet is.
Now, you've been exposed, homie.
You want to help. Now you want to help. You want to say,
man, take the mask off.
Let me double my chances.
Cam,
let me double my chances.
Cam, take the president's mask off. You've been exposed.
President's mask.
You've been exposed. Like in Point Break, man.
Oh my goodness! What are you talking? Now you're going to surfing? Now you're going to surfing?
I'm just saying you've been exposed as to who you are, man. You want to say Clay can't score 20, but then you only give him game 3 to.
The question was, will he do that in game 3? He had 15 in game one.
Hard to say,
He had
man.
11 in game two.
It's certainly
And I
possible.
was putting it
I
out
know
there.
he's going to do it in one of those games. How about that?
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay,
You're hoping.
yeah.
You're
Okay,
hoping.
yeah. Go back over there in the corner, man.
So when we see Tatum had a big game where he scored 20, he scored 21 in the first quarter. We didn't get that point production out of him in the first game. He did in the second game. What do you see as the issue with Boston, and why can't they get the points?
They struggle on offense. I mean, they have to have a lot of things go well for them, other than what Jason Tatum can do. And in game one, it was exceptional. Everything was clicking on all cylinders for everybody. But for some of the time, it just doesn't work out that way.
It just didn't work out that way. Hey, we want to thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for the love. Just keep tuning in, spread the word, man. I'm just out here hustling for the fans. I'm a fan like y'all. If I can get some inside, some behind the scenes knowledge, that's what I'm here to do, man.
Much appreciated, guys. Much appreciated.
We ask that you just hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share it with your friends. That's all. That's a currency. That's your currency. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and come back to us. So you think it just didn't work out, that he just didn't happen to score? He just didn't happen for him on Tuesday? You was thinking it's not more so what the Warriors are doing?
No, I mean, Jason Tatum's going to get his, man. He's proven he's that dude. He's going to get his. That first game was an anomaly. Like all the rest of the players hitting all those threes, him being off was, that was kind of odd. Game two, he showed just how odd that was. He's gonna do his thing the next couple of games until he runs out of gas, which is probably a little bit after game 4.
So I sent you the link where we interviewed Keenan, and Keenan gave us, he doesn't think the Celtics are gonna win another series. Are you ready to say that?
He said they wouldn't win another game.
Another game
in his honest opinion, but if he had to be put on the spot, Warriors in 6.
Do you agree that they'll never win? They won't win another game?
I don't want to say I wholeheartedly agree with Mr. Allen, but I do understand his perspective. As a betting man, I would say 6. As a kind of rooting fan, we'll see. Dragons are starting to get their lungs a little bit. Starting to flap their wings a little bit.
So I just gave you a way that the Warriors can potentially end it in a legitimate sweep, winning the next 4 games, and you thought that was preposterous. Now all of a sudden you're saying the Dragons can get their wings, and you're believing Keenan.
I mean, they can.
Well, he said it. I didn't. That's why you agree with it.
My only problem.
He said it. I didn't.
My only problem with that perspective is that the Warriors, unfortunately, do not have a killer instinct. They're more about style points, and so they don't really necessarily have that will to just throttle the other team and just put them to rest when they should. And they want you to lose as opposed to them just beating you. You know what I'm saying? They want to have their performance be just so overwhelming on you that you just don't try, as opposed to, again, some of the killers that we've talked about in the past, Mike Scotty, Isaiah Joe, they prefer if they had an opportunity to just, pull your neck off. These guys, hey man, they're nicer guys, they're all about threes and, living the good life and, sons of former number 1 picks and NBA champions and whatnot, and they just don't have that same mentality. So it could get to 6. We'll see. But then again, the Dragons are flying. So if it's just overwhelming for those guys, and wow, it was their first time to the championship, and they're all under 25 years old, less Al Horford, and it may get to game 5 and they're just tired. They're just tired of trying to, live up to the amount of points the Dragons are scoring and the pressure that they're putting on them, and they might just fall over in game 5. I don't know. again, winning 2 straight in Boston is not an easy thing to do. So, get the first one and, see how the second one goes.
So here's a couple concepts. So it sound like you're not really. I'd ask you to put something on it, but I get that chicken voice again because you're really not that confident. But you truly believe there's a chance that they could get swept in the next 3 games. I brought up that earlier. When I said it's absolutely preposterous. Keenan Allen says, "Oh yeah, I see where it's coming from. I can agree with that. I can get on board with that. Get out of here." So what I want to say about that is now you're saying that the Celtics may just be too young to overcome this. They got here, they did all they could to get here, and it just maybe too overwhelming for them to climb the second half of that mountain. What do you think about? Because that's what I heard from you is the reason the Celtics is not going to quit, but kind of it just the moment might be too big for them in game 3, 4, or 5. What about the fact that they did go to game 7 and beat the defending champs? They did go to game 7 in Miami and beat those guys in game 7 at home. What about that perspective?
No Dragons.
What?
No Dragons. They beat Milwaukee.
The defending champs.
They beat Milwaukee.
I said the defending champs is what I said.
I know. And then you didn't let me finish my statement. They beat the Milwaukee Bucks without their second best player and Giannis having to do everything on the court. They beat the Miami Heat. Should have beat them at home to clinch that series, except for JB went off for 47, and then JB went off for 35 and almost, extinguished their hopes again. This time it's the finals. They've already been through those 2, and now it's the Dragons, 2.5 Dragons. And they have 3 championships.
Can Draymond keep the same play up that we saw out of him in game 2? Can he do that for 3 more games without getting ejected?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Oh, no problem. You're not concerned with that at all.
He's always going to come right up to the line. He's going to step on the line. He's going to blur the line. So it's possible. But, yeah, I think that Draymond understands what's at stake here. And he certainly is very motivated to, kind of rip up the Kevin Durant legacy. So, yeah.
Speaking of that, does this championship for Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson erase that Kevin Durant memory? Because now they got 2.
It doesn't erase it. It puts an exclamation on the point of why Kevin Durant left in the first place. It was over an argument where Draymond Green said, "Hey, man, we've done this without you. So, hey, man, why don't you fall in line?" Kevin Durant took offense to that, thinking that he was the reason that they won the 2 championships and was being disrespected. And as we've, addressed on this show before, Kevin Durant came to the Golden State Warriors the year after they won 73 games and was the insurance policy to ensure that they never lost a championship again, barring injury, which then did happen, and hurt feelings because Kevin Durant didn't get enough of the credit and felt that he needed to take his talents elsewhere to prove that he was the reason that they won the championship. And to not get out of the first round and have the team that you left win the championship without you, yeah, that diminishes the contribution a little bit.
I think I agree to that point. The hubbub is him or Steph, who's better. I mean, I think obviously one-on-one, there's one player you would take above another player. Oh, well, shit. I would say one-on-one, there's one player you would take above another player. But then I was going to say, excuse me, if it was a total team game, there's one player that you would take over another player. But I don't know if that's entirely true. Is there any scenario you take Steph over Kevin Durant?
Yeah, when it comes to winning NBA championships, you take Steph Curry over Kevin Durant.
Oh, ain't that a bitch? Would you say so? If you have Steph on your team, you're going to win a championship? Is that kind of how you're breaking it down?
Well, they won one without KD, and they're about to win another one without KD. So,
I mean, I didn't think it was much of a debate, but if it was, the debate's been dispelled um, because it is. But you say Draymond is going to be good. There's no suspension. He won't get ejected in any. We got a potential of 5 more games to play. Draymond will not be suspended in any of those 5 games. Are you ready to put something on that?
no. Too volatile of a personality, and in the way the NBA is refereed these days, yeah, I've seen some plays that wow.
All
I'm
right,
not sure there
so
would even been a foul back in the day. Now you're out this game, maybe next game. Yeah.
um, okay, so any other angles? Can we talk about that? What do you think? What do you think of Badoka and the job that he's doing with the Celtics? I mean, I like that he's actually on the sidelines, up and showing some spirit. He's coaching out there. He's not playing too cool for school and just playing in the background. What do you think about how Ime Udoka is coaching up these Celtics?
I think he's done an exceptional job. Certainly, commands the respect of the players and announces his presence of authority, and they fall in line and listen. I don't know, perhaps if it was that way in the beginning of the season, but right now that certainly is the voice they need to hear, without question.
No, I was actually asking, sniffing around, kind of about that when I was in San Francisco with some of the PR team, the media, about kind of when the turnaround. I thought the turnaround, and I mentioned this before in the show, as their kind of seasons to turn around and start to go on the upswing, that their turnaround was about when Derek White came. That was about right at the trade deadline, right? Early February. But I was actually signified that they got a spanking in Chicago, and after that they had an closed door meeting where uh, Marcus Smart kind of took the stand, and then that's when remember Marcus Smart was talking about they're not going to win unless Tatum and Brown learn how to pass the ball, and that was kind of the turnaround. And then shortly there, White came in and had the big game, um, happy for that kid, and then we see Tatum had 13 assists in that game, and they actually won. So by them moving the ball around, that actually cashed in. So um, I thought that was a turnaround, and we'll see how they finish the season. The Warriors obviously is our veterans that has been here before, as you've been stating all night. They've been here before. They know how to act. This moment's not too big. They're going to Boston. This game 3 is going to be monumental, man. It's going to be monumental because when you're the veteran on the side of the team, you don't want to work too hard. You want to work hard and kind of get it done in one swoop. You don't want to work or overexert yourself and then not accomplish anything and then have to kind of revisit Boston, do you? Because Game 6 will be in Boston. So if they have a chance to again win 2 games, still a game, still 2 games, and then come home and win it. Can they do that? That's putting a lot of pressure on themselves, but we'll see if they're able to do that. Let's take a little break here, and when we come back, Cleveland, we're gonna got some NFL topics that we're gonna touch on, uh, and then we're just not gonna keep you too long, too late tonight, fans. But we got some NBA, NFL topics. We got some Major League or baseball topics. We're gonna get to the. Are we having the Mariner Minute has been disbanded? So, or maybe we have a Major League Minute when we get to, because I do want to ask Cleveland about the Angels head coach.
Mhm.
So let's take a moment here, fans, and we'll be right back with you. You ready to keep plowing through?
Be right back.
What's good? What's good, fan? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's on your mind, fans? Let's see. We got some people tuning in. If you're tuning in, give me a shout. Let me know where you're listening from and what's on your mind. Let me know where you're listening from and what's on your mind. While Cleveland's on hold, checking on his little pooch. Let me know what's on your mind. Where you from? NBA Finals. We're gonna get to some predictions there. If you got some for me, we'll talk about it as well. Let me know what's on your mind and where you're listening from. Thanks for tuning in. This is your man Cam on Voice of the Fans. Again, fans, I'm trying to do a lot for you guys, trying to get to these NBA Finals, bring you guys some backstage exclusive content. So make sure you're checking out my YouTube page. Make sure you're checking out the videos, man, because there's some contents. I had some stuff last week that was kind of happened that was really surreal. One of the reasons I want to talk to you guys all the time is because things are happening all the time that's really, again, just really surreal. The people I've actually come in contact with, being able to contact and get in contact with and communicate with, actually have a discussion with, actually have shake hands with fans. It's been um, surreal. Hall of Famers. I can just say Hall of Famers. People you know very well. It's just showing your guy love. So my next approach is stop trying to be so modest and not promote the show. Let's try to get them on the show. Let's try to make this podcast pop. And the reason it's popping right now is because you guys are tuning in, fans. So thank you guys for tuning in. Cleveland, he's learning a lot. We got a lot to work on. He's an individualist, but he's coming around though. He's an individualist, plays individual sports. So the team game, the team concept, he struggles with. I mean, he doesn't like coaching, so he thinks he can do everything on his own. That's part of it being individualist. Uh, but nonetheless, I digress. I digress. Please, fans, thank you for your support. Tune into. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you share our page with you, the Voice of the Fans page with Voices of the Fans YouTube page. Excuse me. Make sure you share that with your fans, who you know are sports fans, because we love talking sports, and maybe they'll love talking sports just as much. So. Cleveland, Aaron Donald. Woo hoo hoo. He gets the bag, man. 31 per year through 2024, 65 mil guaranteed. I mean, Geno Smith is going to be nervous now. I mean, Russell Russell don't have that to worry about. But now you got Geno Smith. How Geno's going to hold up against that?
It's hard to say. I would say not very well, given what I've seen from Geno in the past. So.
Okay. I mean, you gonna stick with Geno, or you gonna go with Baker?
Not my decision, Cam. It's not my decision.
I mean, come on, you know what Pete can do. You've been around Pete for a long time. You've been watching.
Yeah,
Pete.
I've never known Pete to be a quarterback whisperer by any means. So, and I've seen what Geno can do. So,
So he's not really familiar with what Geno can do. Is that what I'm hearing? You're not really confident Pete knows the capabilities of Geno Smith.
No, I am quite sure that Pete knows the capabilities of Geno and is being overly optimistic if he thinks that, starting Geno Smith at quarterback is a recipe for winning a lot of football games in the NFL.
While we're on the topic, yeah, thanks for changing that for me, fellas. While we're let's do a little a little Geno Smith trivia. Come on. What was Geno Smith career completion percentage?
58%.
That's a pretty good guess. Look at that astute NFL mind you have right there. However, that's behind Drew Lock. You know that? That's behind you. So you got somebody who's not even good as Drew Lock running your team? Oh my goodness gracious. Most TDs thrown this season. Maybe he's had a outstanding season one year and just kind of blew some people's doors off. What was the most TDs thrown by Geno Smith this season? Or in a season, excuse me. He played 7 or 8 years.
22.
You would hope it would be 22. You would dream if he came in and threw 22 touchdowns this season to DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. You would it'd be ecstatic, wouldn't you?
No.
He's not throwing 22 touchdowns, and I got a lot on that. If you want to talk about that one,
Yeah, I
the
don't
most
wager on Geno. I don't wager on Geno Smith, Drew Lock, quarterback accomplishments.
the most he's thrown is 13. Again,
Okay.
once again, behind Drew Lock. The most interceptions he's thrown in the season. Geno Smith. What do you think it was?
27.
Ooh. I mean, come on, give him a little credit. 20. He only threw 21. I mean, no, gee, wow.
Excuse me, 21.
Gee whiz. I mean, come on now. Get a kid a little credit. You don't want to give him no credit for doing nothing. I mean, he's not that bad. He's not your boy in Tampa who threw Jameis Winston who threw
30 and 30.
30
30 for 30.
and 30.
Yeah.
But he threw 21, which is, I mean, come on, dude.
Still an alarming number of interceptions. Yeah.
I mean, your guy, Drew Lock, who was behind him, only threw 15 interceptions. So it's looking like you might really want to consider putting Drew Lock in the game.
Something to make, yeah.
The best QBR of his young season is, and we're talking about your now number one quarterback. What's the best QBR of your guy Geno Smith?
90.
Not even close. Not even close. You would hope he'd have a 90 QBR and 22 interceptions. You could only dream. You and Pete Carroll could only dream of such a season like that. If he had that type of season, they'd be competing for second place in their division instead of being penciled in at last. He has a better QBR. This he does have is a better QBR for his career, better QBR in his career than Drew Lock. At 56.9, Drew Lock's best was 50.2. So kudos to Geno Smith for having had a better QBR season than Drew Lock. But if you start either one of those guys, man, you're competing for a number one spot, right? Would you agree?
Repeat the question. I'm so sorry. What did you say?
If you start either one of those guys, you're competing for another number one draft pick.
Potentially. Potentially. I think that the Seahawks' commitment to the run game may not have you in the top spot for the pick, but things could get out of hand quite quickly, and
who's running the ball? Penny?
Top 10 would not be unrealistic.
You got Penny running the ball still?
No, we drafted Kenny Walker third, man.
From Michigan State,
yeah.
Michigan State.
And Chris Carson is trying to come back healthy. I mean, we'll see. That is to be determined. That is the one spot where
who's trying to come back? Who's trying to come back?
Chris Carson.
You're really gonna try that hamster wheel again?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, we'll have to see how everybody shakes out in camp. This is the one spot that competition is at probably its height.
I'm gonna have to find a slide, Cleveland. You're gonna have to send me a text to help remind me. It's about the pay structure when free agency time was coming out. The pay structure of slotted players in the NFL. Jeez, I'm gonna have to dig that up, but there's no way I can find that right now. And it was pretty interesting. Tight ends around. The numbers were very interesting. What a free agent in the NFL would account for. I'm gonna have to pull that slide up. I don't want to comment no more, fans. I don't want to be disturbing on it. But it was just based on what these positions would slot for, and the running backs was the lowest on the list. And just as a former running back, like, and how running backs get abused in the NFL. One thing you have to agree with Terrell Davis is talking about the running backs need their kind of own appreciation fund, appreciation group or something because they get used and abused. And one position in the NFL gets abused is the running back position.
And it gets abused by the media, which is why you and Austin Eckler are on speaking terms right now, right?
No, not at all. I don't know what you're referring to.
Oh yeah, you don't talk that highly about him.
I'm talking about Austin Eckler.
Yeah, you actually talk down about him.
Are you?
But then when you put the mic in his face, you don't say the stuff that we be talking about on the show about.
You've never heard me say ill will about Austin Eckler, ever, not one time,
wow.
ever.
I could pull up so much tape about that, man.
Go find the tape.
You be embarrassed.
Find the tape.
It's on the show.
What have I said about Austin Eckler?
Okay, well, quite a bit. Not every down back.
I don't know what show
is the reason the Chargers aren't succeeding as much as they should. You basically throwing him under the bus and pointing the finger at him.
You stop it. He's not ever down back.
You were crying like a little girl when Melvin Gordon left.
I don't know that I was crying that Melvin Gordon left. It wasn't a good.
Well, you certainly weren't confident Austin Eckler could carry the load for him.
Shit, nobody thought Austin Eckler can carry the load. He was undrafted. He was undrafted.
You will see that. Okay, starting to seep out a tad bit. How come, Cam?
He was an
undrafted. What are his deficiencies that you just don't like about it?
Oh, here you go. Again, you don't know me and Austin Eckler's relationship. I don't know where you're coming from. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what their relationship is that you portray. I'm just talking about how you talk about him on the show. I mean, when you see him face to face, like I'm saying, it's obviously a different thing because he wouldn't say the stuff you say on the show to his face, pound for pound.
You have to come up with
pound for pound, right?
To make that type of assertion, you have to come up with some example of what I said. Because if you want to say that he's not ever down back, he would tell you the same thing that he's not every down back.
I'll post some footage. Yeah, I'll go back to the shows.
Please do. Thank you. Please do, and correct that statement. And I'm gonna need a public apology on that statement.
You won't get it from me. I'll just pull the footage.
Pull the footage.
Okay.
Why you guys letting Baker dangle around out there? Don't you want him to kind of come in the team, build some confidence with the team, build some camaraderie?
Cam, best case scenario, let's not kid ourselves. Baker Mayfield is a starting quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks, man, next year. But I mean, there's so many different things that have to happen in order for that to happen.
What? They have to call up and say we want him. Come on, let's do it. You waiting for Baker to call you guys? Is that the deal? What's the deal?
You know why Cleveland hasn't let Baker go just yet, right?
Well, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Is there potential?
That's all that contract's guaranteed unless it's not. And what's the clause that gets you out of all that guaranteed money, Cam?
Is there a potential that Baker Mayfield is a starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns next season?
There absolutely is. And
well, let me ask this question. Let me ask you this question. Let me ask it this way. Who's more likely to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns this season, Baker Mayfield or Deshaun Watson?
Deshaun Watson.
I don't think he's more likely.
Hey man, are you in Compton? Where are you at, man?
Downtown Los Angeles, man. It goes down out here.
A lot of sirens.
I don't know if he's going to be the starter, Deshaun Watson, because they're not going to get the stuff. They're not going to get this stuff resolved by then. Are they going to let him play without being resolved? Are they going to suspend him before he's able to play?
This isn't one of you don't forfeit games, bro. Either you play or you don't. So, yeah.
So yeah, what I'm saying, my question is, This won't
Will
be
all of his
resolved.
legal matters be resolved, and
Yes,
will
no.
the NFL office have made their decision by the time the season starts? No.
So then you saying Cleveland he should play? Cleveland should play him.
They should play him as long as he is eligible to play. At some point, he is going to have to miss some games. Yes. They have not quite determined how many games he is going to miss. And they understand that there is a wild card to all this, in that there are still people accusing him of doing things. And this, may drag out a little bit longer than they had anticipated.
Did you see the video with Tua passing the Tyreek Hill? You see that video?
Looked impressive. Looked great.
You were impressed.
I was impressed.
You think Tua back to Alabama days?
Oh boy, when did he ever leave?
So somebody gave me this analogy. When did Tua look at his best?
In the national championship game against Georgia?
Well, he looked at his best when he had the best talent on the field to throw to.
Oh, well, yeah, that helps too. Yeah.
Does he have the best talent to throw to on the field right now?
Yeah, it's quite a bit of immense talent at the wide receiver position for sure.
That's worth. That's the.
You've never been a Tua fan, so I don't really.
That's the 10% of excitement I
don't really
have.
know where you're coming with all this.
I said, that's the 10% of excitement I have for Tua.
Okay, well, yeah. You and Tua have never been friends, so.
No. I have nothing to be. It's not even enough. I don't care to be his friend. I just state the facts.
No, you're not. No, you've never had a lot of respect for Tua Tagovailoa. As your interview with TJ, proved.
My interview with TJ called out the facts, stated facts right there, and TJ ducking me right now. TJ is ducking me for that right now. He don't want to have no more conversation with me because of that conversation right there.
Okay, well, potential Pro Bowler. So
potential Pro Bowler. Who's a potential Pro Bowler? Wait, who?
Tua Tagovailoa.
Oh, stop it! What do you have on Tua making a Pro Bowl? What do you got on that right now?
I mean, the odds aren't in my favor. He plays in the AFC.
I know it's not in your favor. He ain't better. He's not getting over there over Mahomes, Herbert,
Josh, Russ, JB.
Oh boy up there. Come on, man.
It would be tough. It would be tough. But I mean, the season hasn't started yet. I'm just saying.
Man, come on, bro. If Tua Tagovailoa made it to the Pro Bowl,
you eat a bucket of cold chitlins? Is that what you said?
If Tua Tagovailoa, I don't know what I would do.
Would you eat a bucket of cold chitlins?
No, probably not. I don't know what if he made the Pro Bowl. I don't know if Tua made the Pro Bowl.
You just named me 5 quarterbacks that should definitely make the Pro Bowl before Tua. So
right. So it's impossible.
So if it's impossible, then hey man, put some on it.
It's impossible.
Put some on it. We'll revisit this in a little bit.
Gee whiz, that's a good one. You throw that. You try to sneak that one in there. Put Tua make the Pro Bowl. You try to sneak that one by me. I'm not going for it.
Okay. Well, we'll revisit that in a little bit.
How many wins can Geno Smith lead your Seahawks to this season?
6.
You got him winning more games than your other guy, who was your quarterback last week, Drew Lock?
I didn't say that.
Well, that's what I'm asking. You got Drew Lock winning more games. Which is it?
I think they're equal. I mean, I think training camp will go a long way to proving who's a better quarterback, and it's great that Gino understands the system a little bit better. But again, it's not like it's the same system that he's been playing under his entire career or anything. They switched offensive coordinators last year, so he was kind of learning on the fly. So he's only got like 1 year, on Drew Lock. So it's not like Drew Lock can't, you know, make up the gap, so to speak.
All right, Cleveland. I don't mean this to be a show where we're throwing bouquets back and forth, but I'm gonna give you credit for having the uh, I want to say a deeper, more defined moral compass. As I stated before, recently, I don't think I'm calling a doctor if I got a game to say I'm sick and I don't know if I should be able to play. I'm going to the arena. I'm getting down. I don't know. I don't know that I'm making that phone call. On a football field, I may try to take a cheap shot at somebody. I may talk a little bit. Somebody take a cheap shot at me. I may take a cheap shot at them, or I may have taken a cheap shot at them and then try to take a cheap shot at me, and I'm going back. I'm a little different, Cleveland. That's what I'm here to say. For whatever reason, 21, 22 didn't really bother me so much. 23 and 24, come on, man. What are we doing here? What's really going on? Like it's really I don't know what Cleveland was thinking about. Like I'm not sure. I wanted my Dolphins to make the move last season, but I needed to sit down and have a conversation and understand what's going on, and so we can get this to a resolution, and we can get you on the football field making plays. But Cleveland, it appears Cleveland signed this guy, sight unseen, said let's do some investigation afterwards. Oh well, let's go find the best steakhouse in Cleveland. And Deshaun, did you have a great time with you and your wife and family and aunt and cousins and mom, grandma and and really didn't. Most of the investigation was there at the restaurant. And once you have a couple of Mai Tais, a couple Long Islands, and a couple Houston Downers, I mean, how much of football, how much behind the scenes are we really talking, or how much being observed? Do they have out clause? Do they have a in case this happens, break glass clause on that contract?
Yeah, the NFL has that for all their players. If you do something just so off of the grid that like is unforgivable in the eyes of the NFL, then you don't have to pay that person.
Cleveland, what's unforgivable though? Dude, we're dealing with this for 2 years. What's unforgivable? That the guy likes to get rubbed and tugged? Is that unforgivable?
It will come out. For example, I mean, it certainly wasn't any violence, but we're not talking. But I'm pretty sure sexual assault is covered in the out clause. Yeah.
Is that what happened? Like, what's taking so long? If that happened, what's taking so long for that to happen? Like, if that happens, like if he sexually assaulted these women, as big as a football fan as I am, he has to be he has to be condemned.
He had his accusers. He dealt with those accusers, right? He finally got to the point where they decided they just didn't have enough. And of course, they were getting pressure by the league to like, hey, man, lean one way or another. If you got it, then let's go. If you don't, you're kind of halting the progress of the wheel, the NFL wheel. So go one way or another, they said, okay, we don't got enough. And then after he got I don't even know if it was exonerated. I don't even know if that's even the word, but after none of it was going to criminal, all of a sudden he's got a $250 million guarantee in his pocket, walking around pinstripes, and the God is good, and I just can't wait to get to my new team and show them guys this, what a good person I am, and going on HBO Sports and talking all And then all of a sudden, all those people that were kind of on the fence because they just didn't want to be a part of that whole circus, not on the fence anymore. It's kind of I don't want to make the analogy, but for me, it's kind of like my man, Mr. Jello, Mr. Jello Pudding Pops, Mr. Fat Albert is I was them 10 people are lying. Them 20 women is lying.
Right.
Them 30 women. Oh. Yeah. Them 40, them 50. I mean, it's how many? They're all got it all confused. All 50? I mean, after the number gets to a point, it's okay. For me, I don't think they're all not telling the truth. I don't think this was just all of them getting a situation that they didn't understand going into, and nothing bad happened to them. It's just a few too many. It's not a few too many at this point. It's a lot too many.
Yeah, it's a lot, man. It's a lot to be undressed, and shame on me for not feeling this way last week, last month. It's a lot for it's a lot for this not to be addressed, and that's where I'm at. If it's, I understand there's going to be might even some more stragglers along want to kind of.
No, you're coming from the same perspective that the league is coming from, man. This is a top tier talent, man, and we need him. So unless you got something that's gonna stick, man, stick it, or move on. And we don't really care about your feelings. We don't really care about how awkward or uncomfortable that situation was. That's not our business. This is one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league when he's healthy. So, yeah, man.
But I want this. I want it. I mean, again, I need. Maybe we just need to hear from Deshaun.
No, you need. You need video or extensive audio tape saying something really vulgar to be like, oh yeah, no, he shouldn't play. It's not enough for you. The 66 accusers.
So okay, so
it's not enough for you. All the other stuff.
So Cleveland. This is no lie. There's no lie. This happened the other day at the airport. Checking in, go through security, and for whatever reason, my bag. I'm waiting for my bag to come through the security little thing, but it goes. There's a little V right there, right, where it can go. They can pull it to them, or you can get your bag and get dressed and move along your business, or they want to inspect it a little longer, right? So they pulled my bag over. I'm like, oh shit. Okay, here we go. They pulled my bag over, and I'm bringing this up only to say that people see things differently. People see different scenarios differently. So, and some people are more sensitive to stuff than others. It's kind of the ultimate point I want to make. So my bag gets diverted, right? So security has to screen my bag. So I'm standing there. I took my belt off and waiting for my shoes. Standing there, waiting for them to look through my bag. But I notice I'm the third bag in line. I'm not the first bag. I'm the third bag in line. So I'm gonna be a few minutes anyway. And then I noticed that there's 3 or 4 TSA agents really just kind of standing around, looking around, not really knowing, not really trying to working on doing something, getting ready to do something, finishing up doing something. They're just kind of standing around, looking around, just kind of. And I'm like, yo, come on over here, check my bag. Well, I'm not first, but check these bags so I can get my bag, and then we can go. But we got to check these bags first. One guy says, "Oh, it's not my job," and then when I heard, "Well, it's not my job," somebody else got to do it. Then I got heated. I got heated only because I hate bad service. And then that whole concept that it's not my job. You got all wearing the same suits. You all should be able to do the same stuff. Nothing over here is chemical. Mixing chemicals is not. We don't need the fire department to stand by. Nothing that we don't need any of that going on here. Unless you obviously know to identify a knife or something. But they take my bag and they're like, no, hold on, excuse me, you gotta wait because we need to bring somebody else over to check your bag. I'm like, what are you guys doing? What are you guys gotta go call somebody else. Why can't you check my bag? So long story short, they ended up detaining my bag because I was so vocal. I said, you guys need to be over here so we can speed shit up. I did just like that. His manager heard me say shit. Now he's like, oh, you can't be over here disrespecting our workers. I'm here to defend our workers, and we need to detain your bag for until we get security over here. I said, detain my bag for what? You can't disrespect our workers. I said, speed this shit up. Who am I? That's not disrespecting anybody. I'm trying to speed up the process for me and the other 100 customers that's coming, travelers that's coming behind you. Can't you understand? What don't you understand? Oh no, but you can't be using that type of language at us. You can't be snapping at us. What? The concept of dude just misread the situation, didn't read the same situation. Could that be what we see here in Cleveland? And this whole Deshaun Watson, like somebody needs to get to the bottom of this. We're not getting the full picture. What's going on? Can we be misreading this scenario? I don't know. I could be misreading the whole scenario.
No. Cam, you're coming with a perspective and a perception, and it is based upon what is best for you and what's best for the NFL. It clearly has nothing to do with the 66 times this has happened. And it clearly has nothing to do with anything that
come on. Well, I mean, prove to me that it happened one time.
Cam, I don't have any audio or video footage of what happened, so I don't have enough proof to give to you that this happened the 66 times that it happened. And again, you're completely overlooking the fact that 66 times for someone that makes
I'm not overlooking anything. I'm trying to
man,
understand what really happened. Okay, it was a dumb move. You hitting.
It was a dumb move 66 times, though.
I mean, you need to pay a stupid tax. Pay that stupid tax, Deshaun Watson.
Is it a stupid tax when you get to like the mid 60s? Is that a stupid tax?
Is it a stupid tax?
You got to get to 6. These are just the ones that have come out. Once you kind of get to like past 50, these are just the people that are have enough strength to tell you, and they gain more strength and momentum from the number of people that are coming out.
So last question on this, and we're gonna leave this alone. We're gonna move on. Why then, Cleveland? Again, when you say I'm coming from the perspective of the perspective that served me, and I'm not looking at. I'm not sure I agree with you, but why is the NFL not treating this situation more like the Major League Baseball treated the Trevor Bauer situation?
They've never treated any situation like that. They only treat it like that if you have empirical audio or visual evidence. They heard all the Ray Rice stuff. He never got suspended until they saw the footage of him knocking his fiance straight the F out in an elevator and then dragging her out by her hair. He was not suspended before that. It was all just, oh man, got a little argument. No, that wasn't a little argument. I remember Louis Riddick, like you've heard this for this whole year. It's like when you finally saw the footage, like what did you think you were gonna see? Like, was it gonna be like, oh, you just kind of like no? They've been talking about this forever.
Oh man, what is it? Oh my goodness. All right, like I said, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on for this. Cleveland, how many wins does Tyreek Hill account for the Dolphins?
5.
Looking for that number to grow up a little bit, come up a little bit. Cleveland, let's hit this last segment. Before we do, we got to get you this week in history as always, man. This week in history, June 7th, 1831, Cleveland. First annual convention of colored people held in Philadelphia. June 7th. June 7th, 1953. Mary Church Terrell struggled to end segregation in Washington, D.C. restaurants. We had June 6, 1966. Stokely Carmichael latched Black Power movement. And that was back in 1966. June 7, 2009. I don't know if you remember this, Cleveland. You always want to, I didn't appreciate the digs you tried to hit me with this morning, or this earlier in the show. Oh, I try to stay in my lane. I don't want to explain. That was all garbage. 2009, Roger Federer. You ever heard of him? You ever heard of that guy?
Yeah.
Became sixth player in history to win what?
June 7th, 2009?
2009. Yeah. 2009.
June 7th is not a big day.
June 7th, 2009.
Became
so it was just a day or two ago. 2009, he became six man in history to win career Grand Slam when he won the French Open.
Oh, the French actually drifted to the 7th. Okay, gotcha.
He actually tied Pete Sampras. You heard of that guy? Who's that guy? Pete Sampras.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So what you're trying to say is, if I think you're saying, is he became the 6th player to win the career Grand Slam, which means he won all 4 major events. Got it. And then he also passed Pete Sampras for most total Grand Slam tournaments. Got it. Thank you.
Most points. No,
please
what?
Please continue on. Yeah, again,
I said that.
Again, HOV.
I said the exact same thing. Roger Federer became 6th man in history to win career Grand Slam when he won the French Open.
I got you.
That's what I said.
I got you. Okay.
But you didn't know that? I try to give you a little.
I'm so sorry. The date kind of threw me off because Nadal just won like his 14th, like 2 days ago, which was like the 5th. So kind of threw me off. So sorry. Please continue.
He also tied Pete Sampras. Who's Pete Sampras?
Pete Sampras has the 4th most Grand Slam titles.
He also beat Pete Sampras record of 14. Pete Sampras's record, of 14 major singles titles. Do you comprehend that, Cleveland?
Major Grand Slam titles, yes.
It just said major single titles. Let's say Grand Slam.
Oh, that's why I'm correcting you. It's Grand Slam titles.
Okay, Cleveland.
Just saying.
June 1st, 1979. We talked about this last week, actually, with the Sonics, the gentleman sweep on the Bullets to win their only championship. Cleveland, Brittney Griner, man. As Russia continues to take over Ukraine, are they going to let Brittney go? Do you think they need to get? Do you think it's a fair trade for the Russian? What is it? The guns dealer to trade him for Brittney Griner?
Oh, at this point, for sure, man. I mean, what are we doing with him, man? Yeah.
You think we got all the information we're gonna get out of this guy?
Yeah, I mean, Brittany's a much more heavy contributor to society, and it's been way too long. I mean, and at a certain point, it gets into all those other you know categories of why she's still over there.
Yeah, who knows? Um,
Yeah, I
uh,
mean, yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm gonna jump on the soapbox here for a minute.
Go ahead, man.
Like, before it was like, okay, yeah, she shouldn't have had the vape in her bag, but that was like 4 months ago, man. It's like, if this was Lindsey Vaughn, they would be, raising holy hell. If this was,
Ooh,
Mike Trout,
ooh,
they'd be raising holy hell. If this was even the King,
ooh.
they'd be raising holy hell. I mean, how long are they going to let them keep him, right?
Right. Yeah. Fair point.
6'8", African American lesbian. They just don't care that much, and they're proving it by letting her sit that long, not having any kind of conversation or dialogue
When you say
about it.
when they're proving, are you saying this is this a U.S. focus, a United States
It's not a
focus?
U.S. focus for the aforementioned reasons that I said. But if it
No,
was
no, no.
any of
But I'm
those
saying it
other,
should be. It should be. Are you saying it should be? I mean, we should be more focused on it. If it was Lindsey Vaughn, they wouldn't allow this to happen 30 days, let alone 90 days.
yeah, it's in the hundreds now. So yeah,
Oh, you
yeah.
see, excuse me, over under it is right. Yeah, well, let's keep the word out, fans. If you care anything about it, there's a petition you can go to. Maybe we should have that available for you guys next week. I think it's freebritney.com, something to that effect. But make sure you sign the petition to kind of get her home. Last weekend we had Haney outpoint Cambosis to become a unified champion. I don't know if you saw the fight. I don't know what you thought of the fight. I thought I was surprised that knowing Haney's punching power is limited. I was surprised Cambosis allowed Haney to outpoint him and didn't just go in there and charge in and just dominate the fight in that sense. What's your thoughts?
No, he tried. I mean, it was a little bit similar to kind of Ricky Hatton, Floyd Mayweather. It's like these two styles are just going to contrast at some point, and you don't have enough skill or ability to kind of get in. And my jab is a little bit too much, and even though I don't have really heavy hands, you're going to feel it a lot, and you're going to stop coming in after a while.
Interesting.
Kind of how the fight went.
So with Haney now the undefeated champion at 135, there's Shakur Stevenson at 135. There's Tank Davidson who could be at 135. I know you know what Tank can do. You saw what Haney can do. Are you familiar with David? Are you sure familiar with Shakur Stevenson's work?
Yeah, no, I saw his last fight as well, but it sounds like there's a rematch clause, so we'll see what happens after that.
Yeah, I don't know about the rematch clause. Haney didn't. Haney didn't. Haney didn't sound too inviting of welcoming of a rematch clause.
Well, yeah, but A, it's in the contract, and B, he was also hollering about trying to be a free agent. So you're gonna pay your own. You're gonna pay that on your own, because usually the promoters pay that handling fee to not have to fight that other person. So
yeah,
if you don't have one of those, then that would just be coming out of your pocket.
No, I mean he can go get a promoter. So he can become a free agent and
But that's not what he said he wanted to do. He said he wanted to go like the Canelo route and work with Asin and kind of be open to things.
Well, again, maybe have a deal, maybe sign a one fight deal with DAZN, maybe fight a one fight deal with PBC, whoever, and he's a free agent in that sense. But he does have his own promotional company, so we'll see what direction he goes. I mean, more power to him. He's a skilled fighter. He is very skilled. Devin Haney is a very skilled fighter. Eat a little bit of crow because I did have Kambosos winning that fight. And I will say it again, Devin Haney is a very skilled fighter. I'm just not impressed with his punching power. And I think if he finds somebody hungry enough to walk through those pillow soft punches, they're going to kill him because I'm not sure what kind of chin he has. The few guys I see get inside, can connect with him and can daze him a little bit. So I'm interested to see. I think out of the three names I mentioned, Haney, Shakur, and Tank, he's not even close to number two. And between Tank and Shakur, I have to give Shakur the advantage because of the size, the length, and how he effectively uses his length. I have to give Shakur the advantage there. But I mean, either one of those fights, I mean, it's Shakur, Tank, and Devin Haney. I mean, he might well be in fourth place. It's so far down. What's your thoughts on the Tampa Bay baseball players not wanting to um, wear the pride patches the other night?
I thought they were being real. I thought they were being, kind of true to themselves. I thought it was kind of odd that, in a time when everyone is trying to be so politically correct and trying to appease everyone all at the same time, that they just were like, nah, I don't really feel like it. And, it kind of caught wind through the clubhouse. And after a while, it just wasn't a thing.
I mean, did you lose any more respect for these guys, or you're in agreement with them?
I don't know if I lost any more respect for them. I think that maybe they were not necessarily understanding
The impact.
the impact and the message that they were sending by not doing it. And I don't think it's necessarily what they had intended when they did that. But I mean, every action has its ramifications nowadays. It's 2022, and you just have to know you can't please everyone, and the majority of the people are going to lean a certain way. So, and see your actions as being, malicious or uncaring or whatever. And, perhaps to a certain extent, maybe that is the case. Maybe they just don't want to get all swept up into, political issues, in the middle of the season. Who knows? And again, it's in Tampa Bay, so it would go over differently than, say, if it was in San Francisco, right?
Right, sure. Um, um, you want to talk about this Nadal thing, him winning his fourth title? Do you want to go on and on about this, or have you said enough about him winning the title, or can you answer the question yet? If him winning 14, is that 14 overall titles? You didn't say 14 consecutive titles, right?
He's won the French Open 14 times. I believe he's won it 14 in the last 16 years.
So why is he not the best tennis player of all time?
Because there's still Roger Federer. Actually, Roger Federer hasn't played in a while. There's still Novak Djokovic. And between the three of them, they kind of trade off between who has the most Grand Slam titles. They kind of trade off back and forth between kind of who beats who. And it depends on the surface. I mean, once we get to, Wimbledon and the U.S. Open in the hard court, it'll be different. Nadal's dominance on clay is, unprecedented.
Oh, so now I need to wear a different pair of shoes, on turf or grass, or I need to change my game up. Is that what you're telling me?
I'll try this again. So in tennis, there are the Grand Slams. There are three different surfaces. There's clay, which is the French Open. There's grass, which is Wimbledon, and then there's hard courts, which is the U.S. Open and the Australian. So Nadal's dominance, 14 of his 22 majors are on clay. So between the other three tournaments combined, he only has 8. However, he does also have a career Grand Slam, winning all 4 titles.
Who cares?
I don't want to complicate it too much for you, Cam. Let's just stop there.
Yeah, we're gonna stop there.
Yeah.
I think I just lost. No, I think I may have just lost a few
You
more.
lost me a tad bit. Yeah, I lost you a tad bit.
No, I lost listeners. That's what I'm concerned with.
Oh, quite possibly. Yeah. And like I said, it's not for everyone.
So, did you have any money on this on Nadal winning his 14th title? Did you put any money on it, or it didn't mean that much to you?
I did not. And also, I'm sorry, shout outs to Coco Gauff, who also got to the French Open finals in singles and doubles as an 18-year-old. That's quite impressive.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if you know who Coco Gauff is. She's an up and coming African American tennis player from Florida.
Shouts out to Coco Gauff doing her thing. Did you
probably remember the commercial with Jared Goff, and he was like, pretending like to call signals. It was like Coco Gauff. Remember that?
No.
Remember that commercial? Oh, okay. I figure that's about as much as you knew about Coco Gauff. So.
No, I know. Come on, stop it, man. I know.
That's okay. It's okay. It's okay if you don't, Cam. It's okay if you don't.
Let's talk about Madden. Joe Madden, the Angels. Cut Joe Madden. I mean, I was surprised to hear that. They have been on a little slide here, but just 2 weeks ago, they're number one in the American League. What do you think about that? And were you surprised by that?
Joe Madden has always been revered as a player's coach. Took Tampa Bay to the World Series, won the only World Series in Chicago Cubs history. I'm sorry, in 106 years. So, certainly has done some things, has some cachet, and came over to the Angels and was doing some things. But yeah, when you carry that kind of payroll and you lose 12 straight and you went from like first to like third. Yeah.
Can they get a better manager in there than Joe Madden?
They can get someone that's not going to lose 12 straight games. Yeah.
We'll see. So the clock is on. Let's see what the Angels do over the next period of time. Fans, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Voice of the Fans podcast, man. We want to thank you for your time, man. We just kind of threw this show together in rush time, but we're going to get it in. I wanted to get some stuff off my chest before Game 3 of the NBA Finals. I hope you guys enjoy that tomorrow. Cleveland, once again, I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for participating in the Voice of the Fans podcast. Fans, as always, man, donate your pocket change to the show. Your donations will be immediately repurposed for the Voice of the Fans podcast. It basically helped me get some backstage action for you guys, man. I need to get to San Francisco and back over the weekend for Game 5. I'm trying to go to Game 5. I don't think I'll make Game 7, but I'm trying to get there for Game 5, fans. So repurpose the show. Go to $ Voice of the Fans. $ Voice of the Fans. That's the Cash App. Hit me up, fans. If you got something to donate to the show. We would appreciate it. It would be repurposed for the show. Get you guys a lot of backstage content. Make sure you check out Voice of the Fans on YouTube for that backstage content. Got a little content of NBA action, some NFL players talking. I do boxing as well, MLS soccer as well. Trying to give you some of all world's fans. So again, make sure you subscribe to the show. Thank you for your participation. If you're watching the show, however you're watching the show, Voice of the Fans podcast, Cleveland, appreciate you for joining us. Fans, as always, thank you for making our voice your choice.